Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Okay, we're just doing something about leadership. It's something that I wrote for when I was in BC, and then I just thought that would be really good at this camp, because all of you guys hopefully should be the future leaders that this is targeting. It's things that I've been tinkering with, and you might see themes that I've mentioned before over the last couple of years, but this is kind of like putting it into a condensed form. All right. So obviously with the picture we can see that Guruji is asking for leaders, right? And why you can apply this within you is because whatever we talk about here, this is about you then taking it and applying it into yourself, right? Okay, so have we had leaders?
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite straightforward, right? The Gurus were our leaders, yeah? Okay, these are quite fairly self-explanatory questions, right? I know you might think, oh, this is just like, it's obvious. But so we had leaders, yeah? So from the beginning of Sikhi till 1699, there was a clearly defined leader of the Sikh Panth, right? And even when there were some murky bits, when somebody decided, like Prithvi Chand or his son Meherban were trying to say, oh, that's not the real Guru, the Sikhs still found out who was the Guru and who was the leader, and they found that leader, right? So we had a situation with the second Guru where the Sikhs turned him away from Khadur Sahib, then they went and found him again. We had a situation with the third Guru where the sons of the second Guru claimed to be the Guru and they pushed him away, and again the Sikhs brought back the Guru, right? We had a problem with the fifth Guru where his elder brother was trying to claim to be the Guru, his elder two brothers were trying to, and again the Sikhs found out, no, it is Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha, yeah? And we had a similar situation with Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, where their elder brother tried to be a Guru, right? And he went away and Dehradun was made his place, Ram Rai, right? Guru Har Krishan Sahib Ji's son, yeah? The eighth Guru's elder brother. So we've had people trying to take over the leadership of the Panth for a while. From the inception, you might say, yeah? From the second Guru, third Guru, fifth Guru, eighth Guru, and then even later on, right? Since then we've had people try and take over our Panth and say, no, I'm the leader. But did having a leader help? Of course, we managed to stay together, managed to work together, and it made us who we are now, right? It made us into the Panth that we all like follow and we believe in. So, and then let's look at their qualities, right? Well, there's nothing we can say about the Gurus in the sense that we can just keep on talking forever. Their qualities are beyond, they're full of guns. But we've also got to look at the qualities that that we can take from them. Yeah, we can't become every bit like the Guru. Like Maharaj says, ki Gur ke sakar kamao, Gur ki karni kahe tao. Can't chase after the Guru's doings and what he did, but we can learn from them with qualities. Yeah, so they're compassionate, they give mercy to other people, but they're strong, they're brave. Yeah, they put themselves at the front. So these are all qualities we can learn from. The point here, though, of this slide is that every one of us must in some way try to understand that having a leader helps, right? Clarifies things. You know who to go to, right? Okay, here's the question again about leadership, okay? What's leadership and what is management? Okay, so first question is like, what is the difference between the two? Because often Gurdwaras are run by a management committee, and we end up meeting people who are part of the management group. And the question there is, are they leaders or are they managers, and what's the difference? So I just put something up there. Leaders lead, yeah? They walk the walk, and managers manage, yeah? And they the leaders are supposed to plan in advance, think of the whole plan and work towards it, whereas managers are more admin orientated. So let's use the analogy, right? You've got a school, yeah? The school is led by a principal. That's the leader. Yeah. Now the principal happened to be in the past a teacher, right? From the teacher they went up to becoming the head of a department or the head of a year. Then they progressed after many years to becoming maybe deputy principal. Then they became the principal, right? So the leadership comes from people who are already teachers, yeah? But the headmaster or the principal has a management board, okay? Who's in the management board? This is the interactive part. You can ask questions, okay? You can put your hand up, okay? But I can ask you questions as well, right? So the question is, who's in the management team of the school? Sorry? No. The leadership is from the principal and the vice principal and all the ex-teachers, yeah? Who are still teaching probably, right? They might still be teaching. Who is management?
The administrative staff.
Right. So, Board of Education people, yeah, everybody's bored of them.
Just people you don't see a lot behind the scenes.
Like what?
People.
Some people you might deal with quite a lot, like all the people when you go into the front desk, right? All the secretaries, the people, you want to meet somebody, you've got this whole team around them, right? And they help the leader manage, right? But they don't themselves lead. So another example, in the army, you've got officers that lead, right? But you've also got a whole bunch of sergeant majors and quartermasters, and they do all the logistical planning, right? Or the easiest example that you guys would understand, okay? You've got politicians who are elected to lead. But what have you also got that comes from the management side within government? Some people that are chosen to lead, and they have a mandate to deliver and stuff. And who are the other people that are already there, that are part of management? Sorry?
Senators.
No, those people are elected as well. Us? People? The people the people that they're leading? Okay, but there's one more group. Because this stuff is new to you, right? So I'm not expecting you to know all the answers, but I want you to try and think about it, because this is crucial to understanding our system and what's going wrong, right? It's new to you guys, because you probably never really thought about what's wrong with the system, yeah? So this is like me now, 37, looking back at the system that we've got in our month, working out, why isn't it working? What's wrong with it, right? So obviously you guys are coming into it fresh. This system has already molded you in a way. And someone like me is trying to like kind of get you to rethink the system that's molded you. So just imagine that you've taken the system for granted already, that this is the way things are. But my aim is to try to get you to question that. Yeah. So it's going to be hard. But have you heard of the civil service?
Yeah.
Right. So the civil service, they're not elected. They run government, right? And the government ministers come in and tell them, okay, our new target is this. This is what we're going for. They're political. They're chosen. They have a leadership. They have a vision. And civil service is meant to implement that vision, right? So wherever you've got these working systems, you might say they don't work so well. The point is, in all these systems, you've got leadership and you've got management. And management is supposed to support leadership to implement their vision. You getting me so far? Okay. So just like people say, I'm not Jahidar, bro, just give me some seva to do. Make it simple at camp level. Right, you've got people here that saying, Baji, just give me the langar seva to do, or I don't want to deal with all the hassle of working out what to do. Just tell me a job and I'll do it. So that's what the management people are supposed to be. They're supposed to just get on with finances and all that kind of stuff. But leaders are thinking of the vision. What do we need to be teaching? If we got this problem, if we got that problem, how are we going to deal with it? Okay. So they're supposed to now. Let's look at Gurdwara committees. Okay. So at the front, I've put Baba Deep Singh Ji there because he led from the front as well. So leaders are expected to be in the front. They're not supposed to be so if you've got a leader, they should have in a way done the job, because they inspire confidence amongst people. So when someone's walking in the front as a leader in a school, the reason that a principal is the leader and not a finance person that now runs a school is because the teachers are the main people in a school, and they need to be inspired by an experienced teacher, so they believe in that person. Yeah, teachers wouldn't work for a accountant who ran a school on the finance side. They wouldn't work for them. They'll say, oh, but this person doesn't understand me. They don't know what I have to go through, right? So they inspire leaders. Leaders meant to walk the walk. Same in an army, okay? Normally the leaders tend to be soldiers, like ex-soldiers, but like officers who've been in battle and they've done that kind of stuff, yeah? Again, with politicians, they should have been in politics for a while. Otherwise, other politicians don't follow them, yeah? Somebody just coming in from outside worries them. Someone like Trump, yeah? So I put Baba Deep Singh Ji there because he led from the front, right? As a leader, exemplary leader, he took people who were facing crazy odds and he inspired them to go to the front because he was prepared to put his own life on the line, yeah? So have you seen this video? The middle one, the picture of these guys. This is not actually Gurdwara committee members, yeah? I didn't just take the basic picture of a bunch of people. This is a movie called Committee Wala, right? It's a video, it's a song, right? So these guys are all people that I know. They're from London and they're posing as committee wale. Okay, so let's look at Gurdwara committee members. Do they lead? So just remember what I meant by leadership, yeah? Lead means to be at the forefront and doing things from the front and showing people how to do things and giving a vision. Do you see these people at the front leading your Gurdwara? Okay, who is at the front leading the Gurdwara? Right. Have they got any power? No. Okay. So this goes opposite to the system. Okay, let's look at a church. Who's leading? Has he got any power? Yeah. He's got a good job, salary, he's respected by everybody. Granthi? No. Okay. So you see the problems in the system, yeah? I'm pointing out the flaws. Okay, do they plan? Do you see, but they've obviously got a building plan. They've got some kind of budget plan. But do they plan like your education? So you're the students, you're the consumers in a Gurdwara. You're the, what you might call the fee-paying public that come in and you keep the place going. And your education should be their priority, right? So the question is, do you get stopped and asked by them, okay, we're going to teach you this much before you leave this, before you get to 18. So where are you now? So I can put you in the right class. No. So they're not planning to educate you. They haven't got an education plan. Right? So they're not planning. Yeah? Well, if you walked up principal and said, okay, what are you going to teach your 11-year-olds? You've got a whole system. 11, they've got to know this much. By 12, they've got to know this. By the time they leave here at 16, they've got to have this much. They've got a plan. Right? They're leading and they also got a plan. Right? The last thing is, are they trained? They're not trained? Okay, so give me an example. Somebody is a businessman, now they're running a Gurdwara. Where did they get any training for dealing with community issues? What about issues like, we've got gender violence in the community. Okay, we've got alcoholism. These are all social problems, right? Have they had any experience of dealing with social problems at a professional level? Right? No.
They can just deal as per their sense of humor or something like that. But if you come to Gurmukh, I don't think so.
Okay, so they're not being trained in Gurmukh, and they're also not really trained in the legal side and the social side responsibility of looking after these many people. Right? They've got a community of 5,000 people that they might be the only Gurdwara for. So they've got like when you look at a priest, okay, does a priest go through training? The priest runs the church, yeah? How much training do you think a priest goes through?
At this time it depends, but earlier they were having for a really long time.
Yeah, but 3 to 6 years, yeah? Training for a priest, right? And then after that they've also got courses in pastoral care, counselling, right? So, but are Granthis trained in this stuff? The other side. Okay, Granthi can read the Granth, right? Let's hope, right? Not just Candy Crush, but can actually read the Granth, right? But are they tested? Like, is there a course for Granthis? No?
Nowadays it is.
Where? SGP, you trust those guys?
No.
You don't trust those people?
Missionaries do that.
Missionary colleges have courses. But is there let's say one of you guys decided, I want to get qualified as a Granthi, like a lay preacher. Like you got lay ministers in Christianity, or you got people that are from the congregation that get skilled enough to do the job, but they are just having their own career. They just do it on the weekends or in their spare time. So there's a tick box that this person has enough gyan to do this. Do we have that? Any qualifications? No. We have a 6-month course, right? That's about it. But it's not Pant Parvan. No one the Pant has said like, okay, you guys, your course is the Taksal? Yeah. Okay. So we haven't come up with one, innit? Let's just say.
There's not a time limit or there's not a course like that, I think so. They are just, they are like when the person is able to, at that time they sign up.
Okay. So really, in terms of a structure for this system called Gurdwaras and education, where ours is a bit unclear, murky. Somebody's doing one thing, somebody's doing one thing, and whereas they seem more structured, other religions seem more structured, right? Yeah. Now I'm not saying structure is really the only thing that makes work, but certainly it would give some clarity to people of what qualifications we had. Okay, here's a question. Let's just assume everybody's qualified who's a Granthi. How do we know that they're qualified? Where can you see their profile? If you go to any church and it has a picture of the pastor and it has a little blurb about them saying, Pastor so-and-so studied at this university, then he went on to do his masters at this university, he spent 4 years here, 4 years here, right? So now, anybody know the history of their Granthi at their Gurdwara? No one? I don't know the history of any of the Granthis in my Gurdwara. Right? So these people are completely, what you might say, unknown to us. They're just there in the front of their Granthiji, right? We might even know their name one day. Some people don't even know their name. And then, do they have any power? No. Not really, right? If you ask them something, you got a problem, they say, committee nu pucho. Committee nu pucho kehte thanu nahi pata, Granthi nu pucho. Right? So people are passing, okay. So here's the thing, yeah? Okay, who's supposed to be in charge? The tail or the dog? Who wags the tail? The dog. So what if the tail starts wagging the dog? That's what's happened to that dog, innit? He's not happy. He's like, what the hell, man? You're smashing me up and down, right? So this is a normal English usage of a term, which means that the people that weren't meant to be in charge are now in charge. Right? The tail wagging the dog. The admin people, those that are meant to implement the vision of the leaders, have now become the people in charge. Admin people. Yeah, the finance secretary, all those people that are supposed to just make sure things happen according to the leadership are now in charge. Yeah, because the management committee runs our Gurdwara and they're not leaders. In fact, direct quote from the Pradhan of local Gurdwara, direct quote to me, I said, you got to talk to these people. There was a big morcha going on in our Gurdwara. I said, you got to talk to these people. You're supposed to lead them. He goes, that is not my job. He goes, you talk to them. I was like, who am I to these people? No one elected me. They elected you. You're the leader. Right? So, they don't know their own job. Their management. A lot of them don't want to come into the limelight. They want to stay in the back. They just want to manage. And they want to keep control of the real resources of the Gurdwara. They're not leading. They're not the front leading. Yeah. So the tail is now wagging the dog. Management committees have become the leadership board. No one is being trained to lead. Because management people, they don't get trained to lead. They just get told to manage. But someone sets them a vision. Right? Someone with experience. Okay. Now here's a question. What about these guys? Who's that guy at the top? It's a song called Baba's in Paris. Yeah? Right? It's another fake movie. I'm not taking any real pictures of any Babe. So I'll put that up. So there's a song called Baba's in Paris and there's like a spoof. And those guys are all following that dude in the middle. Okay? So are there loads of these guys? Yeah? But somehow they seem to be succeeding, right? But there's good ones and bad ones. But they all seem to be successful, right? You see? Now here's a question. Why are they successful? How come they seem to succeed more than a normal Gurdwara? Like whenever a Baba comes up, within 2 years, they've made a Gurdwara, and when you go there, it seems quite organized, and everybody seems to know what they're going to do, right? But in our Gurdwara, like the normal ones that the Sangat mostly go to, where there's committees and elections, etc., or you end up getting loads of arguments and fights and police actions, but in these ones, you hardly get them, right? Is that fair? Am I making this up, or is you think that's quite a fair judgment? How come they succeed? Go on.
They're actually aware of how Gurdwaras are meant to be run.
They're aware of how Gurdwaras are meant to be run. That's what Paji's comment is, okay? So what do you mean by that? Explain, like.
So rather than looking at economics on how much the Gurdwara is grossing from donations, they're more concerned about what the Gurdwara is giving out to the community.
Okay. So these guys are more concerned about what's going on with the community, looking after their people more. The following, right? They're looking after their following more. Okay? Then like I said, it's good and bad. Yeah? Okay, go on. Loads of hands have gone up on this one. Go on, Simran. She's going to be quiet. Vocal. No swearing.
No swearing. Stop. I think it's just they have a figurehead that represents what that data or what that particular Gurdwara, what that particular Jathebandi is about.
Yeah.
So it clarifies what direction they're headed in, as opposed to just going in your local Gurdwara, saying Reji Khalsa, Reji Fateh to the Granthi, and then going about your day, going to the Langar Hall, eating, blah, blah, blah.
There's a leadership figure.
There's a leadership figure, and it's very clear that figurehead sitting there on stage directing.
Someone's in charge.
And that's the one and only person you go to.
Cool. Good. Go on, Singh. I'll come to you, man.
I'm not sure if this is a good analogy, but I think like some Gurdwara, like she mentioned, it works kind of like a chain of command. Like in the army, like you have at the top, you have whatever Babaji, and then below him you have the Mukhi Sewadars.
Yeah.
Like ranks, you have the whatever other.
And they implement. Babaji says this is going to happen, and everybody jumps to action, right? Who's going to implement it? You do this, you do this, you do this, and it just seamlessly flows. Babaji doesn't have to do all the work. He just says, this is what I want to happen, right? Like a leader. And then everybody else implements, right? And if there's a problem, what happens?
They know who to turn to.
Then they go to Babaji, and Babaji says, okay, tu na kar, tu ek kar, bas. Job done, right? What were you going to say, Benji?
I was just going to say you can kind of relate it to maybe not as extreme, but like a dictatorship where you don't have to go through the due process that you go through in a democracy where it's you spend most of your time just debating what to do rather than actually doing something. So you have someone who just tells you what to do, and then you don't have to think about it. You just do it.
Yeah, sure. So there's less thinking required, more action required, which is good. But also it cuts out the uncertainty of always having to find like 15 people to vote on something and then argue about it, and everybody's got their ego going on. When one person makes a decision, it's quicker decision making. Right? Even if you got 5, doesn't mean a due process is being ignored. That's the process they have. Due process is just wherever you are, this is the process we have, right? Whereas in a democracy, you might say the democracy is sometimes broken as well. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to give you an example. First question is: do we need leaders then? Does it help to have leaders? So we had them before, and at the moment, most of the Gurdwara aren't working to what they're meant to be. But the only places that seem to be working are the Deras and the Baba, right? And the question then is to ask ourselves is, how come we haven't got leaders in most of our normal Gurdwara? How come we've got managers? Yeah. Now I'll give you a little thing. This is a picture of a bunch of people doing something in the army. Anybody know what they're doing? Anybody been in the sort of officer training corps or any kind of cadet corps or anything like that? What are these guys doing? It's like 3 people holding on to one guy who's reaching for something, right? Yeah? Fair? Okay, this is called a command task, yeah? A command task is a British term. They might have something else in the Canadian Army. What it means is, they come up to you, 5, 6 people who are training, and they'll say, right, this whole area is a minefield. Of course it's not, it's just like pretend. And then they'll say, over there is a bunch of medical box which you need to retrieve from the other side of that place. And you've got these tools, alright, go for it. Okay, so there's 2 types of command tasks here. There's leader-led and there's leader-less command tasks. They're quite fun because there's problem solving and stuff, and there's group dynamics, yeah? And it's good, you get to learn a lot about yourself and other things. But here's how they work. They've got 2 types, yeah? There's leader-led and leader-less. So give me what you think happens in leader-less situation. So We say, we give people the scenario, this is what's happening, there's a minefield here, whatever, could be anything. They say, right, go for it. And you've got 20 minutes. Yeah, but this is a leaderless task, so no one's in charge. What do you think happens next?
Everyone's gonna try and do their own thing and like try and get it themselves.
But they can't, because they have to work together, right? So they're going to try and do their own things. They're going to all try and do their own thing, but they have to work with each other people. So what's going to happen next?
I mean, I think like ਪਹਿਲਾਂ they tried like ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿ what should we do?
Okay. So there's a big discussion at the beginning.
But it's just 20 minutes though.
Yeah, you only got 20 minutes.
It's possible that one person decides to become a leader.
Okay, one person decides, and then somebody else says what?
One person is
Leaderless
elected to the
position.
position.
Sorry?
Someone could be elected into that position. Like
Well, they could elect a leader. Yeah, they sure could. But then what's going to happen when they start? When they say, okay, who wants to be leader?
They want to be like me.
Two hands go up or 3 hands go up, right out of the 5, because everybody wants to be the leader. Yeah, because this environment, this is normally used in officer training, and everybody there has joined because they want to be a leader. So everybody's trying to be a leader, and they're trying to show that they're good at leadership because they're getting marked on it. And what happens in a Gurdwara committee situation is, everybody also has come into that environment because they want to gain recognition. The Gurdwaras attract people that want to have a name in the community. So the more they're in charge, the more their name goes up. So we're attracting people who want to compete on leadership, yeah? Right? Attracting the kind of wrong kind of people sometimes, yeah? So 100% of the time, leaderless tasks, yeah, always take much longer to sort out who's doing what, and then they end up becoming rushed at the end, and they're stressed because who's in charge? There's an argument going on, right? All the time. And people are trying to vie for influence. So one person's got a great idea and they've got 3-4 people they convince, but the other person's annoyed about it. And there's always some kind of person who's like, oh, no one listened to me, I had the better. Or if something goes wrong, one person goes, I told you so, you should listen to me. That guy's a fool, should never listen. And so you see this scenario playing out all the time in reality TV shows, right? And you always wonder, oh, why don't people listen to that guy? He's got a great idea. Okay. Now what happens with leader-led tasks is, sometimes they're led by people that don't know what they're doing, right? And sometimes they're led by people that do know what they're doing. But they still somehow managed to do better than the leaderless tasks. So you might have great ideas in a leaderless environment, but still the leader-led groups tend to come out on top. The reason being is this, yeah? Even if one idea that the leader decides upon is not going so well, somebody can come up with a new idea and the leader can make a decision to drop that idea and choose a new idea, and everybody knows who to go to get the yes or no, because there's a leader in charge. Who's deciding? Yeah? So there's somebody with a clear, yeah, responsibility. We all know who is the person in charge. Okay? Right. Okay, the next one. There's bad leaders and good leaders. Gurbani talks about these. Can you all see the Gurbani Pankti? Maharaj talks about people, they go, Kood bol, murdar khaye, avri ko samjhavan jaye, yeah? Mutha aap mohaye sathe, nanak aisa agu jape. Yeah? Agu is leader. Right? So they go, there's people out there, okay, that lie. Now the lying is equated here, so the translation says, I'm not sure what it says, they're telling lies, they eat dead bodies, right? So here, eating a dead body, which would be completely haram for any Sikh, right? Completely not allowed. To eat a dead body is in terms of a human being's dead body, right? So Maharaj says, Kood bol murdar khai. You're telling a chut is equivalent to something really haram, which you should never do as a leader. So leaders are expected to tell the truth, right? How much of leadership nowadays, let's say politics, etc., that today's main system of politics, yeah? Can you tell the truth? I was talking to my friend from Calgary who stood for, politics, Jagraj Singh, if you haven't ever seen him. So he stood and he goes, you have to lie. He's like, you cannot survive in politics without lying. So the current system is kood bol, murdar khai. And then avri ko samjhavan jaye. Now that you're a liar, You go and tell other people what to do, but you yourself. So you yourself are lost and you deceive everybody else. Maharaj said this is what leaders are like nowadays. So the system is built on chut. This is what the quote for me is saying. The whole system is based on the wrong people being in the front. Yeah. Okay, here. This is then the current situation. Now the current Panth has gotten so fed up of bad leaders, right? They've decided, let's have no leaders. So basically, what we've done is what that bunny's done. Yeah, Atam Hatya. Chopped his head off. He's gotten rid of the leader. He goes, oh, leaders are terrible, let's get rid of leaders. So now what you get is people saying, we don't need leaders. We just need Guru Granth Sahib Ji. That's our leader. Right? So what you see now are leaderless organizations. Remember the army thing I just talked about a minute ago? Leaderless versus leader-led. So now you've got a whole breed of new organizations that no one is a leader. You see them. I've seen them. And I always ask, who's the leader? They go, no one's a leader. We're all equal here, bro. I'm like, okay, but who's in charge? Who has responsibility if something goes wrong? No one has responsibility if something goes wrong. Because that's the trick. No one wants to be blamed, because the Panthic leader, in the Panth, you get blamed a lot. You get cussed a lot. So people don't want to have the so there's a stigma being a leader. Firstly, everybody blames you for everything. Right? So you do anything a little bit wrong, everybody jumps on you. Right? So there's a stigma of being in the Panth as a leader. Also, what people are like nowadays, if you start to be a leader, what do? They pull you down. Right? And they say, you're not good enough to be a leader. Right? And then they say, अच्छा बड़ा leader बन के आ गया. तू कौन लगता है भी तेनू केनू हक किन्ने तेनू हक दिता leader बनने दा? Who gave you the right to be a leader, right? So what we've got now, there's a stigma attached to being any kind of leader, right? We pull each other down. There's a quote I put up recently on a Facebook page, which I heard a long time ago. The British basically, there's a story, whether it's true or not, I think the message behind it is quite true. The British captured a whole bunch of people who were freedom fighters, right, in India, and they put them all into jail. Because they were out and about outside, they had to make a jail outside. So they dug 3 really big pits. Yeah, the one pit they reinforced with metal, right, and they put a metal grill on top, and they put all the Muslims inside there. The next pit they reinforced with wood and put a wooden tuckan, right, and they put all the Hindus in there. And in the last pit they didn't reinforce at all; it was just mud, and they covered it with a cloth, right, and they put all the Sikhs inside there. So now the other British officers like, why what's up with the Sikhs? And, are they going to escape? You've hardly even secured these people. They go, no, don't worry about them. Because the Muslims, they're really strong, they work hard together. And they all try and escape, so you've got to keep them down. Hindus, they're not so strong united together, right? So you have to work so hard. We've got to put wood there, and they're not actually that strong as well. And then he goes, but the Sikhs, as soon as one jumps up, try to climb out, the rest will pull him down. Right? And you don't have to worry about them. They'll never try and escape, really. They never manage to get too far. Yeah? So we've been kitching each other a lot for a long time. Yeah? And it's recognized, yeah, by other communities. And you see this all the time. Anybody steps up, does something good, next minute you've got a whole bunch of people who are virodi to that person before they've even achieved their main mission or whatever. Yeah? So, you've got this thing now, leaderless organizations. Yeah? They're trying to avoid this stigma, trying to avoid anybody blaming them, trying to avoid anybody cussing them. So they decided, let's not have a leader. Yeah? But then what does that create? What does it create if you've got a leaderless organization?
Chaos.
Confusion and chaos. People are like, who runs this thing? Oh, and there are leaders, they just don't ever put their name to it. Right? So they don't want to have the stigma, but they, in a way they're trying to avoid anybody pointing fingers at them. So not being brave enough to take the bullets on their chest. They'll just say, I'm not actually leader. But they are actually leading. Yeah? Somebody set it up, group of people are running it, but they won't admit to it. So the shop analogy is this, yeah? So you've got this shop that's working really well, because now in our Panth we say we don't need Mahapurukhs either. There's no Mahapurukhs. People started saying this. There's no Mahapurukhs, only Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Right? So Gyani Kulwant Singh Ji gave me this example. He's in one of his kathas, and he goes, imagine you got this shop that's working really well, big shop, really successful, really good work, yeah? And then what you do is you start taking out all the different shop workers, take them all out of the shop. And then you say to the shopkeeper, run the whole shop yourself. And you want the same results as you had before. Will it happen? Nahi ho sakta, right? So this is what we're doing in our panth now. We've got this system where the Guru is the head, but he's got loads of Gurmukhs and Gursikhs that run things for him. Gursikha andar Satguru varte. Yeah? Maharaj says, I work through my Sikhs. Yeah? But now we say, no. Guruji, you got to do everything yourself. I don't want to talk to anybody apart from you straight. Yeah? No Gursikhs allowed. Only. Yet there's the whole Shabad that talks about the Sikh going up to a Gursikh to ask about the Guru. It's a famous Shabad. You probably know a part of it. That Shabad is not about the Guru. Just read that Shabad again with this light and you see what it's about. It's a Sikh going to a Gursikh to say, join me to the Guru. It's not about the Guru. The Sikh says, the beginning part. He goes, Maharaj says, Jondi se Gursikhra, this niv lago paijio. So the Sikh comes up to the Gursikh and he goes, Jondi se Gursikhra, this niv lago paijio. Akhan birtha ji ki gur sajan dehe milai jio. Soi das upadesra. Mera man anat na kahu jaye jio. Eho man taiku devsa. Main marg deho bataye jio. हाँ आया दूरो चल के मैं तक की तो सरनाए जियो मैं आशा रखी चितने मेरा सब बहुत दुख गवाए जियो. Now this is the bit what the Sikh has said so far. Now comes the answer of the Gursikh. ਹੁਣ Gursikh ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ? Gursikh ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਇਤ ਮਾਰਗ ਚੱਲੇ ਪਾਈੜੇ ਗੁਰ ਕਹੇ ਸੋ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਏ ਜਿਓ. He goes, you want to walk this path, you got to do what the Guru is saying. Yeah? ਇਤ ਮਾਰਗ ਚੱਲੇ ਪਾਈੜੇ ਗੁਰ ਕਹੇ ਸੋ ਕਾਰ ਕਮਾਏ ਜਿਓ ਤਿਆਗੈ ਮਨ ਕੀ ਮਤੜੀ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੂਜਾ ਭਾਉ ਜਿਓ ਇਉ ਪਾਵੈ ਹਰ ਦਰ ਸਾਵੜਾ ਨਹਿ ਲੱਗੈ ਤਤੀ ਵਾਉ ਜਿਓ. Then he says, how ਆਪੋ ਬੋਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿਆ ਸਭ ਹੁਕਮਾਉ ਜਿਓ. The Gursikh says, I'm just telling you the hukam of my Guru, that the way to get to the Guru is just do what he says and forget everything else. This is the way. Right? So the Gursikh was always there to guide people. And we're trying to get rid of the Gursikh system. In our community now, there's many people that say, there's no Baba, there's no Mahapurkhs, there's no Sants, there's only Guru Granth Sahib Ji. That's the only Sant we believe in. Right? So they're getting rid of the Gursikh system. Okay. So here's a story. Alexander the Great, yeah? Because I'm not afraid of a bunch of lions led by a sheep, but I am afraid of a bunch of sheep led by a lion. Importance of leadership. One Baba Deep Singh Ji took a whole bunch of people and said, let's go to war. Right? Whole bunch of people by themselves wouldn't step up and go to war. They need someone at the front saying, come on guys, we're going to do this. So in our Panth, we've always had leaders. Right? I'm going to go through 4 examples now of leadership. Real examples from our history, okay, of leadership that was successful for us. Okay? These are important because if you ever have to make the case to someone that we need leaders, you need historical examples to throw at them. Okay? The first one, Sikhs step into leadership. Okay? I want a head. Right? Or now I want 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So what happens is, Panj Pyare receive Abrid 1699. We know this story. But did you also know, yeah, that the Guru, when he asked for Amrit, he then said the Guru Khalsa ban gaya hun. The Khalsa has become the Guru. Right? So Gurus passed on leadership. But he didn't pass it on by saying, who wants to be a leader? He passed it on by saying, who wants to die for the Panth? Key difference was that the leaders weren't chosen just for leadership qualities. They were also chosen for their dedication to the Panth. Yeah? That has to be a quality of that person. Yeah? Now, what happens though is that Pai Daya Singh Ji becomes Jahdar of the Panj Pyare. Did you know that? So in any situation, the Panj would have a discussion then Bhai Daya Singh Ji would be the main person that would give guidance and they would listen to him. Okay, so when Bhai Daya Singh Ji leaves Chamkaur with Guru Sahib, Chamkaur di Gadi, okay, he is given the Hukamnama of delivering the Zafarnama. Yeah? He goes to Aurangzeb and gives the Zafarnama. Now also, when Guru Sahib is Jyoti Jot in Nanded, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, at that time, okay, there's an Angita Sahib of Bhai Daya Singh Ji there, so they pass away there, and Bhai Taram Singh Ji. Okay, so you've got leadership within the Panj, right? So a first amongst equals, as you might say. So that's one example. Other example is Guruji appoints a leader. First they stepped up, now Guruji picks one. In 1708, Banda Singh Bahadur meets Guru Gobind Singh Ji. He is called Madhu Das Bairagi. He becomes a Sikh, takes Amrit, yeah, becomes Bhai Gurbakh Singh Ji. Now he asks for a seva. He says, give me some proper strong seva you want doing, something that needs to be done. Koi kuch okha kam jedi karan di lod hai mainu de do. I want to do something good. So Maharaj says, okay, I met Bahadur Shah in Agra, right, last year. He wasn't prepared to give me justice for the Chote Sahibzade and their Shahidi in Sirhind, right. He needs Wazir Khan, but Wazir Khan deserves to die for what he did, right. So he goes, he's not going to give us justice. So he says, right, Banda Singh Bahadur, I want you to go up to Nanded and I want you to deliver justice. Because if we don't get it, we take it. Simple. We don't wait around for it like that, like Mangte. We don't get it, we take it. Yeah. So he's given, go and give justice. Itna it khadka do, destroy Sirhind. There should be no two bricks standing up together. Kand bhi nahi honi chahiye, right? Destroy it. So he goes off, and on the way he builds up a forge. Now that he's a Jathedar, he's given Panj Pyare to guide him. So now you've got Panj Pyare and Jathedar, slightly different model, right? But he establishes a Khalsa Raj. He says we're either Bagi or Padshah. When they lose the Khalsa Raj, they become Bagi. And then he's captured in Gurdas Nangal and brought to Delhi in a place called Mehroli. I've been to that place. You can see where he was Shaheed. Okay, so that place still exists now. And this year is the 300-year anniversary of Banda Singh Bahadur Shahidi. Okay, so all over India they're celebrating it. South Delhi, where all this happens. Okay, Mehroli, there's a Qutb Minar. If you ever know the Qutb Minar, the big, like it's a famous Muslim place, but anyway, you can go there. Right next to that is this place where Banda Singh Bahadur Shahidi was. You can see the actual old Qila of the fort where it happened. Right now, so you've got Panj and a separate Jathedar. Okay, now what happens? Another one. Circumstances created leaders. Right? In the 1700s, okay, after Guru Gobind Singh Ji is given the Guru Khalsa Panth, yeah, Bhai Mani Singh Ji is still around, okay, and what you've got is a situation that they're fed up, okay, the Mughals are fed up of fighting against the Sikhs. So they say, let's have a truce, right? They offer us a truce. And the truce is, give us a person who is your leader. We'll give them Nawabi and we'll deal with them and then we'll have peace between us and you. The Sikhs have to choose a leader. There's this guy who's quite chardi kala, but he's doing seva of the horses, picking up all their lid and everything else and clearing it out. And everybody goes, Nawab Kapoor Singh no chun lo. Yeah, make him the Panth, Nawab. They say, choose Kapoor Singh. Because Kapoor Singh, he says, he goes, I will not accept a Nawabi from the Mughal Raj. They're nothing to me. If the Nawabi is to come to me, he must first sit at the feet of the Panj Pyare. And then they have to give it to me. Yeah? So he's Chardi Kala as well. So what happens next is that the Panj Pyare at that time include people like Baba Deep Singh Ji, who's part of the Panj Pyare. Yeah? The great grandfather of Raja Ranjit Singh, he's also there. Okay, Akali Nod Singh. So you got Chardi Kala Guru Sikhs who are Panj Pyare of the Panth, making Amrit and keeping the Panth together. And they get the Nawabi, but now Nawab Kapoor Singh becomes a leader of the Panth. Yeah, he's Jathedar of the Panth. And funnily enough, the Mughals, they went back on that straight away. Not too long, like maybe 1 year later, we were at war again. So it only lasted. But Nawab Kapoor Singh remains the leader of the Panth. Yeah? And he organizes the Panth into Buddha Dal and Tarna Dal. He organized a bunch of missiles. Each one has got a missildar who's the head of that missile. Okay? And this system is so good that the Panth survives Zakaria Khan being killed. So he's a leader. He plans, yeah? He has a vision, he executes, everybody listens to him, right? And it's a good system. The Panth survives this. Yeah? In the Chota Kalukara, we survived that as well, 1746, under the leadership of Nawab Kapoor Singh. And then amazingly, right, within only 15 years, he actually says, right, time to pass on the leadership. Yeah? And he hands over the leadership. He himself says, okay, I've been in power for enough time, somebody else needs to step up. So he removes himself. Now what happens next is, the Sikhs now choose a leader. They like having a leader. They go, this works. This whole having one person in charge and Panj Pyare to guide him. So this works. So they then chose Jagraj Singh Ahluwalia. Yeah? He's chosen as a leader. Okay? And he's actually been working under Nawab Kapoor Singh for quite a while. He learnt Santhya from Pai Mani Singh Ji. Okay? He was a Chardi Kala Gursikh. Right? His nicknames were Guru Ka Lal. Yeah? Although he's never really met Guru Gobind Singh Ji, he was too young. But he's seen as a jewel of the Guru. Yeah? Guru Ka Lal. And his other nickname is Sultan-e-Qaum, the king of the Qaum. Nowadays we'd find that very hard to stomach, wouldn't we? Say, how has anybody got the right to be the king of the Qaum? But the Panth that time realized we need leadership, and they chose him as Sultan-e-Qaum. He decides, because the army is getting so big, let's go into even more missiles. He sets up 60 missiles. Now I want to ask you a question, right? Before there was a lot less, now there's a lot more missiles. Today people complain about jathis, etc. There's too many jathis, right? How come he decides, instead of having big missiles, to have 60 small missiles? Can you guys guess?
Easier to manage.
Easier to manage. Why? We got to go more in that.
Because
normally 60 missiles is like harder to manage than 12, you would say.
Each missile has its own leader, and they can take care of the people within each missile.
Right. So they're smaller, and they can easily work in a guerrilla warfare type environment, right? Because they're smaller. Okay, they can, and they're more flexible. And there's 60 leaders now. You have something to say?
They can target more people and resonate with more people.
They can spread out more, fair enough. But
all the 60 leaders have one leader. That is Jagraj Singh Ahluwalia.
right. So yeah, they listen to him. That's true. Yeah, but why not just have 12 underneath him? Why 60?
Just to they can personally interact the people. The more they will interact, this means that he believed in empowerment, right?
Yeah, he empowered other people to become leaders. He didn't just say, oh, only 12 leaders allowed or whatever, yeah, or let's make 15 or 20. He let more people become leaders, right? And that kept things flexible. Now what you've got is sort of leadership that does not change. It sticks. Our Panthic leaders have been around for 30 odd years. They don't seem to flow. Yeah? But in those days, every missile had a missildar, and then it was quick decision making here, there, you got to do something, you got to do it now, make your own decision up. If you look at the Khalistan movement, there was lots of small groups, right? People were like, oh, there's so many groups, and there was infighting, but a lot of those small groups were able to make decisions quickly, because you can't always go and get hold of someone and say, come on, there's no WhatsApp, in those days. You make a decision. Okay. Now underneath Jagraj Singh Ahluwalia, right, what they do is, Abdali, he's attacking, so there's two types of Mughals, yeah? A lot of people don't know this, that there's two types of Mughals. There's the Mughals that live in India, like Babur, Akbar and all those guys. They've been there for a long time. They're established, they like Rag Kirtan, they organize into India. They're Indian, they speak Hindi and Urdu, right? Then there's a whole bunch of other type of Mughals. Who are those guys? Sorry? The Persians and the Afghans. And they attack Mughal India to loot it. So it's not one type of Mughals, there's two type of Mughals. One's attacking the other guys in Delhi, etc. Right? So what we do under Jagraj Singh Ahluwalia is when they come through Punjab to attack Delhi and loot it, we step out of the way. We say, Jao ji, just go straight through. No one's stopping you over here. They go in and they raid, they destroy Delhi, they take all the money, they take all these Hindu women that they loot, etc. And the Sikhs sort of step out the way. They keep themselves safe, but they step out the way as much as possible. Once they've got all these people, they've got this money, this gold, and they're happy, they've beaten everybody, and they're nursing their wounded, etc. Then they're going back towards Afghanistan and Ghazni and those places. What do we do then? We rob them, we loot them. Because our enemy's enemy, yeah, is still our enemy, right? So we rob them as well. It's not our friend, he's our enemy still. So we rob our enemy's enemy, yeah? But we let our two enemies fight. This creates a power vacuum because two people are fighting each other, and now as they both become weaker, we rob both. We make a lot of money out of it, we free the people, we get a lot of goodwill from the common person. Great strategy, right? Yeah, so great strategy. We use the Abdali's attacks to become stronger. Okay. Also, the Panth survives people like Mir Manu, who are killing so many of our youth and our children, our mothers. Yeah? There's a Vadda Kalukara in 1762, where the majority of, not the fighting army, that was what got killed in the Chota Kalukara. Now, it's the women, the children and the old people that end up getting killed. Right? A lot of them. Now, at that point, the Panth was probably, in terms of fighting army, smaller than 80,000 people. Yeah? And so many of our people got killed in Vadda Kalukara. They say 30,000. It was like a majority of the women, children at that time. So we were a small Panth. And still, okay, within I think 7 months or 11 months, we'd knocked the Abdalis back out of India and taken hold of Lahore. The Jawab came very quick. Yeah? As soon as the Vadda Kalukara happens, Singhs reorganize themselves, sort themselves out, and they gave a muh tod Jawab. You know what a muh tod Jawab is? When they smash you in your face. Yeah? And that's what they did. They didn't take too long to give a Jawab. Now we've been sitting around for 30 years. Yeah? And no muh tod Jawab. A couple of people did good. Yeah? Sukhan Jinda and those people, but we've been waiting around for a long time for a good muh tod Jawab, right? So, but in 1783 he passes away. Okay? And then what you get then is that all the missiles start fighting amongst each other, but there's a power vacuum. The Mughals stop attacking India. The Persian Mughals stop attacking India, and this is a dark period because no one's in charge, right? No one's in charge. And then what you get is, through his own entrepreneurial kind of spirit, Raja Ranjit Singh becomes the head of Punjab. But he's not chosen by the Panth. And he ends up working against Akali Phula Singh in many times, right? And he ends up stopping the Sarvat Khalsa system. He says there's no need. Sarkar-e Khalsa ban gayi. There's no need to have a Sarvat Khalsa. So these are examples that the Panth chose leaders and the Gurus chose leaders, but they were either within the Panch or they were outside the Panch. Both systems worked, but we chose a definite person who had proven themselves as a Sevadar, a Chardi Kala Gursikh, and then they became leaders. Okay. So how do we get these leaders, right? Well, did it happen through elections? No. Nowadays, they do. Elections, right? But have they ever happened through elections before? No. Okay, so give me a reason why elections don't work with Sikhi. Just a simple, go on.
Because they can highly be swayed. Like for example, if there's person A running and person B running in a Gurdwara, and the elections on, say, upcoming Saturday, person A calls 70 people to vote for him, person B only calls 60, person A is going to win.
So it's all about how much influence you can capture. But those people that are voting, are they voting for person A based upon he's a good Gursikh and he will run the Gurdwara?
But that's not what's happening.
Most of the time it's like family biradari, innit? Are we Malwa or Majha, or are we Jats? These guys not Jats, or are they from my ilaka or not? Right? Or are we, does he know me? Is he a businessman who can do me a favor? You know what I mean? So this happens to become, here's a question, right? How come, but that doesn't answer the problem though. What's the core of this problem? Like, if you want to find out the core of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, the core is Homme. This is the core of all these problems, right? Ego. What is the core of this problem that we've got in our current system? That people are being chosen for the wrong reason. No. It's a bit. It's not as deep as that, because you got ego is the problem for everybody. That's going to be a problem wherever, whatever system you make. Ego is going to be a problem. No.
We have to, maybe, according to my perspective, we Sikhs are, as in elections, I think always the elections are not, they are not in the public, right? We do keep some privacy or like that. We should be selection as everyone should come in front in public and everyone should be.
Okay, so you're saying a lot of the elections don't happen visibly, they don't have debates, that kind of thing?
Yeah, one point
Public
is-
debates, yeah. Okay, fair point.
Yeah, and because of this debate,
Secrecy and stuff, yeah.
Even in elections, it is like if 40% people are on one side and 60% are on one side, right? One person gonna be the leader, that is having the 60% majority.
Yeah.
But what about those 40%? There will be partition in the Panth.
Or there's negativity because of this. So elections create divisions. Yeah, fair enough. Like Trump now is trying to become, trying to get people on board that he's already alienated within the Republican Party, right? But here's one more. Okay, so that's a good point. That's why it's not good for Gursikhi that to have selection is better. But here's a question, right? Gurbani says ke nede ke dur, right? So we accept that not everybody is the same. Some people are closer to the truth, to God. Some people are further away. Now, in number of ginti which in like quantity, which group is going to be bigger, the nede or the dur? Dur, right? Because Gurbani says virle ke ike are nede, right? So if you give everybody equal voting, but you know for a fact that there's more people that are dur than are nede, what have you done now? You've given power to the masses, whereas the masses already you accept are more dur and less susceptible to the truth. So really we should be giving tarjih means preference to the nede people. Right. So the whole system is built from the wrong way up because it's giving power to those that are dur. And as long as you can convince the people that are dur to vote for you, you beat the nede every time. Right? Because everybody's equal. Whereas in Sikh, not everybody should be equal. The people that are nede should be given more preference. The Gurmukhs and the Gursikhs are given more preference in Bani than the majority. Mara says there are very few of them, but they are the best. Right? They're the people that you need to hang out with. But there's loads of Kot Madhe, Ko Virla Sevak. Hor Sagle, Vyahari. Many people following me, but very few people that are Sevadars, Mara says. Most of them are just traders. They come, they put $5 down, they say, Ardas Maharaj, mera 100 pound da kam kara do. Put $5 down, say, give me 100,000 pounds. That's what most people like. Hanji.
So how do you use that system of having native people electing or whatever, right, or choosing? How do you use that and not end up in a sort of elitist system where everyone feels separate, like the majority feels like they're separate from the Amritaris or the Gursikhs?
Okay, so the first thing is that the majority that you're saying that are going to be non-Amritari or whatever, right? They have to buy into this system as well. Right? So the only way to do it is everybody agrees that we need to select the right people to rule over us because we don't know how to run this system because we're not nede. Yeah? And also, having dur people in charge doesn't help anybody. I look at the world now. Most people in this world are going to say the system is totally messed up. Right? So, has democracy helped America? No. Yeah, many Americans. If you read Noam Chomsky, right, is a good American academic from MIT, he'll tell you that since 1950s and 60s, all the institutions that have power in America have been working to reduce democracy. So there was a famous philosopher called Plato, right? Plato said the problem with democracy is that not everybody is equal. Yeah, so unequal people are mostly going to be more powerful, right? And the people that are in power are going to be less. So by giving people democracy, the people that haven't got power are going to be in power now, and there might be a fight between them, the proletariat and the people in charge. There might be a problem, right? So Plato suggested, in order for democracy to work, you have to increase equality. Otherwise it won't work. So Noam Chomsky's argument was the people in charge, they don't want to increase equality because that means they become less powerful. So what they decided to do is reduce democracy. That's what's been happening. That's why many people nowadays don't vote, because they don't feel their vote will make a difference. And that's true. The vote won't make a difference because it's not designed for you to make a difference. It's designed that you don't make a difference. Okay? The system. Go on.
Sorry, can you just rewind? I need like a little clarification on the Gursikhs and the Amritdharis.
Yeah, so this doesn't mean that every Amritdhari gets to be the Nede people. Just because you take an Amrit doesn't mean that you're suddenly like able to become a leader.
I was just going to say, because that's like letting someone's ostentatious piety fill their resume as opposed to actually basing it off of their merit or their kadam.
So selection, that's our system. We select people based upon merit. So the Amrit is one part of it, but not the end all and be all. There's much more about how much Bani have you memorized, how much Kamai have you done, how much Seva have you done at the Qawm, what kind of person are you? Selection. So we can all come up with like qualities of Gursikhs, right? And they're not going to be just like the Amritdhari. But the Amritdhari part has to be in there because it signifies that you surrender to the Guru and you're not holding on to your whatever you want to do. You've given up and follow this path, right? And then if you're Amritdhari, then we have a say upon you as well. The Panth has a haq over somebody who's Amritdhari because you become part of the Guru's family and they can tell you off as well. But if you're not Amritdhari, then you haven't accepted any code of conduct that we can tell you off on. Right? You haven't given your head, so they can't say, oh, you're doing wrong. Right? Now, so our system is based on selection. Right? So when we select leaders, it was based upon qualities. Right? But not elections, not votes. Just the ability to capture lots of votes is not enough to become a leader in the Sikh Panth. Right? Okay? But there's also one other way you can become leaders. Okay? At the top, you've got two leaders there. Yeah? Right? One is Bhagat Puran Singh Ji. Right? Famous Gursikh, made an institution called Pingalwada. Right? He was purely the leader of Pingalwada through action. He just saw a problem and tried solving it. And people started giving him money and support to solve that problem. And because of what he was like, and because of the inspiration that he gave to people around him, then he became a leader. So he wasn't selected in the official sense. But on the other side, you've got Sanjana Singh Ji. He was selected to be the head of Damdami Taksal. Right? So he was selected upon a criteria that Taksal had. So when you've got Jathebandis and missiles and all that kind of stuff, each missile would choose their leader based upon the qualities that they wanted. Doesn't mean they have to be a Panthik, like Sanjana Singh Ji wasn't selected by the Khalsa Panth as their leader. But he was selected by Damdami Taksal to be the leader. But again, because of his qualities. And Bhagat Puran Singh Ji came to the forefront, not because he was selected to run an organisation called Pingalwada, but because he founded it and ran it. Right? So, being selected leader versus taking a lead, we still get leaders. Both of them work. But there's a difference. The difference is this. Somebody who comes to the forefront by being a leader, but just through action and doing something, they don't have the Panthic mandate to be selected. To say, everybody's got to listen to me because I was selected to do this job. Santaji also couldn't order the whole Panth to listen to him. That you've got to do this. But he could to the people that were affiliated to Taksal. They would all listen to him. Right? So there's still a third step, which is to choose Panthic leaders. And they have to be selected. But obviously, they might already be established leaders. So we could either take somebody who's an established leader of one Jathebandi and say, you're going to be the Panthic leader. Or we could take somebody who is a Sevadar who's set up a system, and again, we could put them in charge. Right? So this is how, so we get leaders, they come to the forefront through either their Seva or their Gun, they get chosen, right? And they're running that organization. But at a Panthic level, we still need leaders. Okay, ideas that can help with leadership, yeah? Okay, and management. There's something called the 7 habits of highly effective people. Okay, these are things that help us to find people that are going to be good leaders, or they'll help us to become the action-orientated leaders. In the absence of you, like let's say SYF has selected Gurjeevan as their leader, right? So now he is the unofficial Jahedar. But still, when he says something, it gets done by everybody else. Yeah. So he's been chosen from action as a leader for SYF. On the other side, I am the CEO of Everything's 13 and Basics of Sikhi. Yeah. That doesn't mean I can just do whatever I like, because there's people I have to also bring on board. But still, I've been given this job mostly because I started it and I've been doing this for so long, and people sort of respect me for the work that I've done in this organization. But I'm not a leader at a Panthik level. Yeah. Okay. And nor is Gurjeevan at a Panthik level. Do you get it? The difference, that we need to have some kind of selection. But if you want to take a lead in a project and achieve something, and you want to be effective, then these are things that can help you. Okay. Idea is that we have to become leaders in our own right. We have to, at certain areas, we have to start to make a difference in the Panth. Doesn't mean we're choosing to be leaders, but just means that things will happen if somebody is leading them. So the point of this so far has been this: nothing happens without somebody taking charge. Yeah. So the thing is you got to think, if I want something to change, I've got to take charge. I can't sit around waiting for someone to come along and say, you do it. Yeah. So these are two ideas. The first one is called the Circle of Influence, which comes from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a book you should try and read if you can. The next one is from something called SMART, which is modern business things. Yeah, you might have heard of these things. So this one, okay, it works like this. Everybody has 3 things: things they're concerned about, things that they can actually influence, and things that are actually in their control. Yeah, immediately you can do something about, things that you can kind of influence a little bit, and then things that you are concerned about. Now, effective leaders, they tend to work in the first smaller circle. They tend to work in things that I can control. Let's have a look at Bhagat Puran Singh Ji. He was concerned about all the poor all over the world. Yeah? He could have influence through his books. But he didn't start by writing books. He started with doing what he could, which was to carry one guy around and look after him and then other people around him. So he started in Amritsar with the people that he could physically look after. And then guess what happened? His circle of control grew because people started to give him money. But then his circle of influence exponentially grew as well, because as you have more control over a bigger area, your influence grows, right? And then finally, so his circle of influence, concern, let's say it remains the same, right? What you're concerned about remains the same. But now your control circle is growing and your influence circle is growing. What happens then? Now you can influence and control more of the things that you were concerned about, but you couldn't earlier. But as long as you keep operating at the circle of concern, give me an example of people that tend to operate at the circle of concern only. I want you guys to think about this, because this is important, because this is like, what can I do? What kind of people do you see concerned about things and then operating at that level?
Non-profit organizations. So like,
no, because they've got something that they're trying to do.
But wouldn't they just work within their communities?
No, but they're working they're doing something. In control, you've tried to do something in your area or your community. So that is actually working in your area of control. You can do something there, they're doing something.
Wait, so sorry, what are you asking?
I'm talking about that there's 3 things. There's things that you're concerned about. There's things that you can influence, like your friends and family around you. And then there's things that you can do yourself, control. Mostly you can control your own actions and your own what you do. And then that might affect people around you. And then that might change the things globally. Right? But what kind of people only focus on their circle of concern?
I was just thinking of like Bhagavad Gita's foundation, because he implements like whatever he preaches on himself, and then
Right.
he has like his couple of sevadars.
Okay. Okay, so he's got an area of control himself, and then he's got his influence on the sevadars, and then that ends up having So it brings that circle bigger, makes it bigger. So, but I'm talking about people that only are focusing on the concern or circle of concern. They're not really focused on control or on, give me those people. Where could we go wrong? Sorry?
Like we are only concerned about something.
That's not, you're like the test subjects, yeah? But the question is, what do we not want to be like? And where do you want to be like? Here's his example, okay? Because you're not getting the thing I'm trying to reach to. I'm maybe being too obtuse, yeah? Facebook warriors.
Twitter warriors.
Hello.
Twitter warriors, yeah? Trolls, right? They have a concern
Should have thought of that.
and they only mouth off about their concern. They're not doing anything, right? 1 year of mouthing off about something, but look at the person's actions and it's like nothing. They haven't changed anything around them about themselves that they could actually influence. And then the influence would grow. They decided to do something, right? So 4 years ago, okay, I'll tell you my own personal story. 4 years ago, I heard about this. I read about this book and everything. And then I was like, I'm concerned about the Panth. I'm concerned about Muslims converting our girls. I'm concerned about hundreds of things in Punjab, etc., etc. But what can I actually do? And I was like, I'm busy. I got a business. I got 2 kids, wife. What can I actually do? So I started to make videos. That's what I could do at that time. Now what's happened is that my circle of control has grown. Look at it. It's a perfect case study for this, isn't it? Circle of control has grown. We've got 11 of us now, yeah, running. And the influence has grown. We can make a video about something and it comes under scrutiny of people all over the world. And you can change people's mindsets by making a video about something. We had like a position where I was on the stage in front of so many people and I made a video saying that we should make up a new takht outside of India. No one had really publicly voiced that idea that much. And a lot of people then started thinking, no, and now I've heard people voice that, it's like reverberated around, and somebody was saying, yeah, why does Surrey not have a takht when Patna Sahib has a takht? And Patna Sahib has got like 500-600 Sikhs, and Surrey's got like 800,000. You know? And it's like, you don't have to be in that environment anymore. You spread it now, and the influence is just there. People are talking about it and the idea grows, right? So this really works. So, but the thing is, the key is doing what you can. So when somebody goes, what can I do? That same question, you turn it back on itself and say, what can I do? And you start from there. You make a list of what you can do, and then you do that. And you don't worry about what you can't do, because that's irrelevant. That's not in your control. It's not in your control. You've got one life. How much can you do? You can't do much. You just focus on what you can do. Yeah. जिन्ना कुछ कर सकते हो उन्ना कर लो, and watch what happens next. आगे आगे देखो होता है क्या. Right? Now smart is very similar. Focus on things that are specific. Focus on things that are measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So here's what happens at a Panthic meeting. They all come together. We've got to do something. Everybody's talking. And then they say, right, we've got to make a plan. They say, okay, let's pass a mata first. So the mata gets passed. And everybody's points like, we've got to respect Guru Granth Sahib Ji more, mata number 1. Mata number 2, Gurdwaras should make a check of how many sroops there are and granthis there are. Mata number 3, granthi should get training on thing, right? So then you've got 7 or 8 matas being passed, right? What about those matas fits with this plan? Any of those matas specific about something we want to achieve? It's just general, right? We should have more satkar for Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Right? Then what if that is measurable? How are we going to measure satkar has gone up in 6 months' time? No, there's nothing in there but measurable stuff, right? Then, is it attainable? Have we put any resources towards this to train these granthis on achieving this mata? So is it attainable just out of thin air to create this situation where you haven't put any resources towards it? Of course not. You want to make a register of all the sroops in the country, you need to give somebody 6 months off to go and do that. And what's the guy going to eat or drink in that time? You got to give him a budget. Say, here's your budget for traveling, here's your budget for food, here's your budget for expenses, now go and do this seva. That might be attainable, right? Are you serious? The next thing is it relevant to what you want to achieve? Is making sure that you've got a drugs problem you've got to deal with, and is the first argument, whether we should have Khalistan or not, relevant to the problem you're trying to deal with, that drugs or Beadabi is going off of Guru Granth Sahib Ji? Is it relevant to this discussion? Because what would happen is, first everybody starts arguing about the first mata, and we don't go to the next. So we've got to think, is it relevant? Not to say I'm against Khalistan. The Khalistan, every nation deserves its own freedom, right? We're a nation as well. And we not just deserve it, we have been given our Raj by our Guru, right? But the question here is it relevant to the current discussion? What we're trying to do here, in whatever meeting we're having. Yeah. The last thing is there any comeback in 6 months' time? Is it time based? When you pass a mata, do you say in 6 months' time that this is what would be a smart mata, right? Based upon this, yeah. It'd be like, okay, in 6 months' time, right, we're going to meet again, and we're going to have by that time a training system, okay, which is going to be implemented in 6 months' time, which will train Granthis to this much. Every single person in this room right now, before they leave, will put £500 towards this, so that we can train, set up a training system, and then hire a building, and the training course will happen. Every Gurdwara will get compensated or get money for sending their Granthis on this course that will teach them how to do increase the Satkar. And this will be done, and the course will start in 6 months' time and will go on every month for 6 months. That is a smart objective. And if everybody passes that, and then it gets the money behind it, is it attainable? Yeah, because it's not crazy. It's not like we are going to recreate the Khalsa Raj in Toronto with no resources, in no time schedule, and wherever it's going to be, we don't know. That's what most matas are like nowadays, right? They're not based around this idea. And then you wonder, oh yeah, what's the point of going to these meetings? Nothing ever happens anyway. People are becoming totally lethargic of going to Panthik meetings, because what comes out of those is nothing to do with anything which is specific. Right? This is not any kind of religious doctrine. This is not any kind of political doctrine. This is purely about effectiveness. Things that work versus things that don't work. Okay? You might as well see this as the same as when you shoot a gun. You should slow your breathing down. You should talk. It's just literally how to fire a gun in the right way. Yeah? It's just vidya. Okay. Now here's the thing, ideas that can also help. Okay. Passing on leadership versus dead man's shoes. What is dead man's shoes?
When like a CEO or someone passes away and someone has to like fill in.
Step up into their shoes, right? Or you have to pass them away. And then you can step into their shoes. Literally, like in the mob and in the Mughal Empire, in order for them to become the king, what do they have to do? Kill the guy above. So Aurangzeb very famously imprisoned his own dad, Shah Jahan, and took over and killed his elder brother and became the head. Yeah, that's what he did, yeah, to become the head. So Dara Shikoh was his elder brother, who was supposed to be the next king. Aurangzeb decided, nah, it's going to be me, so I've got to kill my dad and my brother to do this. Well, he didn't want to kill his dad, so he imprisoned him for life. Yeah. Dead man's shoes. This is what happens if you don't allow leadership to progress naturally. Also, okay, Goldman Sachs, right? Goldman Sachs is a highly effective organization. Agreed? Makes a lot of money, does what it's meant to achieve, makes money for itself. Goldman Sachs, everybody works like a dog at Goldman Sachs to become a director. Because then you get shares in Goldman Sachs, right? That is when you've made it at Goldman's. So I was reading a book about Goldman's and leadership. And this guy goes, soon as I became a director of Goldman Sachs, I had a meeting with HR when I said, right, what are you going to be doing when you leave Goldman's? He's like, leave Goldman's? I just made it as a director. Why would I want to think about leaving Goldman's? They're like, if you don't leave in about 8 years' time, right, we've got a plan for that, or 6 years' time, then all the people behind you that are working like dogs are never going to work like dogs to take over your role. We need you to leave soon. You've done your job. Milk it for a little while, make money, and then move on. So this is what happens. By the time they're 35 or 40, they become directors. By the time they're 45, they're out. They made enough money to retire, and they go and find something philanthropic or some kind of small business venture, and they run that. Okay? So Goldman Sachs prospers by continuously throwing bright people into the pool and getting them to progress, and then kicking them out. Yeah? Not keeping them in, kicking them out. Right? Because it's good enough, you've done your job, now move on. Otherwise, the next bright young thing is not going to be happy, because they're always going to be kept down. So here's a question, right? How are you guys treated nowadays? How old are you all? Perversely, hands up those that are under 18. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4. What about those? So everybody else is plus 18, right? Okay. Anybody over 25? Okay, right. So everybody else is pretty much between 25 and 18, yeah? Okay, most people here. So how are you treated nowadays? Are you treated like adults? So between 18 and 25, the people that are between 18 and 25, I want you to put your hands up if you feel you're treated like adults. Not one hand. Simran's like, she ain't even sure. She's like, I think so. I'm not sure. I don't know what an adult is like. Yeah. If it's a Gora, they treat me like an adult. If it's a Punjabi, I'm treated like a kid. Yeah, Simran, is that fair? Okay. So you're not an adult now between 18 and 25. That makes no sense. You are an adult. People got married when they were 15, 16, they were having kids by 18. Yeah? By the time they were 20, like Baba Ajit Singh ji, they were shaheed at 17, right? But by 17, we know that they were a leader already in the army. They'd been in missions since they were 13. They started to lead them when they were about 15, small missions. And by 17, they were a recognized leader in a military sense within the army of the Khalsa. Right? So really, the reason you guys aren't leading right now, in reality, if we reversed ourselves to 200 or 300 years ago, all of you would be leaders. You'd be leading a project, you'd be in charge of something in the Panth. You'd have some kind of responsibility on your shoulders. And you'd be leaders, whether through action or through selection. You would have been doing something right now. Yeah? But you're not. Reason being, other people are leaders who run organizations, and they haven't stepped out of it and given it on to you. You get it? Yeah? And this thing perpetuates itself. Right? So now, all the leaders in our Panth are old. So therefore, in order for them to remain in charge, they've got to convince all the young people that should be the leaders that they're not good enough to be leaders. You've got to leave it to them. You've got to think, you're part of a system that has already programmed you. And I'm watching from the outside, seeing this system, programming our young kids into thinking they're not good enough to be leaders yet. Because the old people are the only ones we can trust to be leaders. And when you go up to one of them and you say, I've got a good idea, they'll say, तुसी हाले तक न्याणे हैगे हो, तुसी की कर सकदे हो, तुसी केड़ा काम साम सकदे हो. They don't say, wow, great idea, what resources do you need? Say, oh, I need maybe $5,000. Okay, come up with a plan, I'll give you $5,000 and you got 6 months to deliver. They don't do that. They don't train you to become the leaders of the future. Right? How many of you have ever had a good plan, good idea for the Gurdwara or for your community? Okay. How many people got taken seriously? Okay. Go on, Panji, what was your plan? What was your idea?
Okay. I have an idea for the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I'm a medical student.
Right.
The very starting, when I selected this field in my...
It's got to be quick, yeah? You've got to be quick. I don't want a whole speech. So if you have to sell it to me in an elevator, the pitch got to be an elevator pitch. Right, we're going up the elevator, ding, it's going up, go.
It is just like that. I want to set up a hospital in which we will teach the people just free of the cost, just on the something I'll put, or some people like my relatives are like that, right? and later when the people will be trained, they're just gonna go out and they will do the free seva, as well as for their living they're gonna get some days, okay, they will be charging, and other days it will be like they will get
medical
only if they're gonna do the seva for the hospital.
Okay.
And like that.
Okay, so Benji's got a big idea, right? Now it's a good idea. The problem is that at this point, fitting as per these things, okay, is quite a good specific thing, but at the moment it's going to be unattainable unless you have a lot of money. A lot of money. Because you have to set up a...
Yeah, I have a perspective for that.
Yeah.
My dad is ready to help me for that.
Okay.
And one thing more, 60% I have, just 40% I have to attain.
Right. See, so she's already... But the thing is where is our Panthik Dragon's Den? You know what Dragon's Den is? You get a bunch of people sitting around with loads of money and they're like, okay, pitch me a good idea and I'll invest in it. Why don't we, a Shark Tank, you have it, right? So why don't we have one? Why don't we have a bunch of investors, right, who are Panthik minded, and people come up and pitch their ideas. Could be the Panj Pyare, and they've got a budget of £1 million a year for new projects, which is not a lot for Canada. $1 million a year is not a lot for Canada. Imagine how many Sikhs are living in Canada, right? There's millions, how many? 1 million Sikhs probably in Canada in itself, right? So everybody gives $1 to the Panj Pyare, says, hey, there's your annual budget for new projects. And all the youth come up and say, I've got this idea. You know, I could turn up and say, I think I might make a YouTube channel. I don't really need any money, I just need to buy a camera, so I don't even need the money, right? So I just made it. But it would be good if I could hire an editor early on rather than if you look at the terrible editing that was going on at the beginning, screens shifting, you know, this kind of stuff. I didn't know how to edit, I could have gone on a training course. What I'm trying to say is, we're not investing in leaders of the future as a Panth. So this creates a gap, because you guys, right now, are Bille. Let's face it, you ain't married, you ain't got kids, right? And you're studying, which is like studying. Yeah, let's face it, because I've been there, I've done that, right? I'm studying. Yeah, you're Bille compared to most people that are married and got full-time jobs and got kids, right? You imagine a person who's working, trying to do the nitnem, got kids, and is within the family environment. How much time does that person have compared to you? Yeah, nothing, no time. So you're the ideal people to be given projects to run. You are literally the biggest resource the Panth has right now. You're the most Bille people ever. And now you're able to take responsibility. I could give responsibility to Seva, but he ain't going to do nothing with it because he's too young. Yeah, he's only 8. But here's the thing, right? You're like the gold resource. And then there's a whole bunch of other people that are retired, oldies, that have got a lot of time. They're Bille as well. So there's two groups that have got a lot of resources and time. Yeah, these lot have got a little bit of Syanapa, etc. They got, they can give a bit of Syan. And you guys have got the enthusiasm. Buddha dal, Tanna dal. Yeah. But do they work together? These guys don't encourage these guys, and these guys can't relate to these guys because they don't work together. So we're killing the resources that we need, right? And a lot of old people sit around playing cards all day. When I went to Calgary, that's what I saw. Anybody from Calgary here? Yeah, I tell you on the Gurdwara, playing cards all day and moaning. And the family gets unhappy with somebody sitting at home moaning, so they kick them out and say, Ja Gurdwara, ja ke seva kar. So the Gurdwara is full of people that are argumentative, whose families don't like them at home. So they come to the Gurdwara, and then what do you get is all the syapa at the Gurdwara. I was talking to this couple of people in the committee, and they were telling me, oh my God, you won't know the kind of things that we have to deal with. People come up moaning about like, mera samosa chori ho gaya. Jalebi mainu nahi khwai. These are real committee issues. Yeah. So committee wale has got 100 problems, but Gurmukh is not one of them. No one's interested in Gurmukh. It's like mera A ho gaya, mera O ho gaya, solve this problem, solve that problem. And they're all running up to the committee to say, solve this problem, right? So we got problems galore in our Panth, right? But these things are not being discussed. So Goldman Sachs is one example. A prime minister, how long can they be in charge of a country? 4 or 8 years, yeah?
That's the president. Prime ministers can be selected as long as...
So in England, it's normally like 2 terms, eh? And the committee will, normally, like even Cameron, he didn't have to leave because the person who came into power after him, she actually is against leaving Europe as well. So he just left for no reason. He was supposed to be Boris. Boris didn't make it. There's ladies coming. The point is, As soon as you make Prime Minister, the clock's ticking. And you can't go back into the party really as anybody. You've got to be out of politics after that really. Yeah? Same with President Obama, became the President of America. Amazing position for a black guy to make. And yet, as soon as he got in, it was like 4 years or 8 years, and then you're out. Yeah? Amazing to think about that, right? Leader of the, of a massive country, but the clock ticks as soon as you get into power. But why does that system work? It's because of this next thing, yeah? Okay? Encourages your youth to grow, because there's space at the top for you to grow. It's not just everybody. Like I look now at the current group in charge, and I predict in maybe 10 years, nothing will have really changed. Yeah? So that's not good, is it? 4 to 8 year system is gone. Yeah? And the thing is where will the new groups come from? So you'll have to create new groups, but you won't get to learn leadership from existing groups and run them, because you'll have to make your own group, because the current old groups will not hand over power. Yeah? Okay, water flowing versus water standing still. What happens to water standing still in one place for a long time?
It evaporates.
No, you wish it evaporates. If it's a lot of water, it doesn't just evaporate, bro. It's called like water, water tanks, ponds. Yeah? What happens at the top?
It gets dirty.
And then you get algae and it becomes green, right? It's not fresh. You couldn't drink that water anymore. But water that's flowing, you can drink, yeah? Because it's fresh. That's the clue, it's fresh. So as a leadership, whether you like it or not, as a Panth, our leadership has stopped. In the last 30 years, whenever you go to any people within a Panthic leadership at the moment, and you say, I've got an idea, or we should change this, they will say, Appa ek kaam 30 saal to kare aa rahe hain. Have you heard that before? I've heard it many times. We've been doing this for 30 years. What do you know? You don't know what we've gone through to be where we are now running this. And you come up and try and telling us what we should be doing, changing. Right? What could we say back to that person? Which wouldn't be rude, but is what?
Nothing's changed.
No, nothing changed. But they will say, that's not fair, I did all this stuff. Huh? Proof? No. It's just like they're going to give you a long list of things they've done.
Yeah, we have done this.
That's just it's a reason for them to go and lecture you for the next 2 hours.
Simply say that your community hasn't seen difference.
No, you could be even more polite. You could say, wow, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੀਤੀ 30 ਸਾਲ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਓ. ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਥੱਕ ਗਏ ਹੋਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਆਓ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਾਲਿਸ਼ ਕਰੀਏ, ਆਓ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਓ, ਬਸ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਨੂੰ ਆਉਣ ਦਿਓ, ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਓ, ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿਓ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਓ, ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਾਲਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੇਧ ਦਿਓ, you give us guidance, ਆਪਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਓ. Because if they don't learn to step down, they're going to end up getting kicked out, and we're going to get resentment towards them. Resentment's already there. There's a whole generation of people that didn't make leaders. You get that? Like the people that, 30 years they've been charged, right? Let's say they got into power when they were 30, now they're in their 60s. So what happened to that generation that was below them, that was like 15 when they were 30? When those guys got to 30, the 15-year-olds, they were like, oh, I got new ideas. I want to get involved. And they got told, shut up, we've been doing this for 15 years. Right? So they said, okay. Then they waited. Now they are now 45. They still want to be in charge. But what's happened in the meantime is a bunch of 15-year-olds became 30. And they want to be in charge. So now you've got middle-aged leaders and youth leaders trying to compete for the same job of the elders who didn't pass it on. You get it? So now you've got arguments between this group, because who's going to lead? The 30-year-olds think they're competent and they're off age, and then the other ones. And here's the problem: if these guys don't solve this problem soon, what's going to happen here to the 15-year-olds? They're going to grow up and hit 25, 30, and they're going to want to be leaders. And then there's going to be 3 generations fighting. That's what's happening right now. And if you keep on changing leadership every couple of years, the next generation gets in charge, and they have their time. Next generation gets in charge, they have their time. And then you got flowing water, and no one's sitting around saying, I didn't get used, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. They never let me when I was your age, and now you guys are doing it, and I don't get a chance. That's not fair. It's just human science, psychology. Okay? Also, there's a problem with technology. Changes every couple of months nowadays, not years. Like Snapchat. I have no clue how to use Snapchat. Now, I could learn, right? But the current I, as a 37-year-old, yeah, because many people think I'm much younger because they assume I'm on YouTube, that I must be a 24-year-old. I went to Katha the other day, what was that Gurdwara, the kitchen there, Wotlu? And he goes, the Babaji was said, "Tusi bahut changa kar rahe ho." And he goes, "Todi umar kinni hegi?" मैं कहा तुसी guess कर लो. कहना 24-25 साल दी. मैं कहा नहीं जी, मैं 37 आया, ब्याह है, मेरे 2 बच्चे नहीं. He was like, oh. They assume you're kids. They assume everybody's a kid because this generation, my generation, was never given a chance. Right? Now, so the thing is if we don't give you a chance now, you won't become the leaders of the future. If our generation tries to give you guys empower you guys, yeah, to look for the future. So technology, the thing with technology is, every generation, every new 10 years, technology totally changes. And the youth are more intuitive towards that technology. They use it better than the older people. Like we've got a problem now, right? The big problem is, you want to get Gurdwara committee members, you want to get hold of them, but they don't even hardly use email. Right? And they've all got WhatsApp now because they share their videos to each other, right? And holy Facebook they are getting. But really getting a conversation out of them quickly doesn't work, right? To get them to say yes or no to something, no. They can do everything sharing by WhatsApp, but they can't sit and make a decision by WhatsApp, right? So they have to meet together face to face, they have to have samosa and cha, then they can make a decision, right? And they discuss 20 things in one meeting, only 3 get discussed, big arguments, and then they go, "Kal agli wari kar lange." They go, "Sorry, your pass nahi hoya." Right? So, okay, I'm going to finish off soon now. Why is Tom Hanks so happy? Why is he so happy? Because he finally made fire. Right? One of the movies that he's stuck on an island. He finally made fire, but he kept on trying. Why? Because he knew you can make fire this way. Yeah? Prosasi. Fire will be made if we keep on trying, because fire can be made this way. Right? So, when it comes to our panth, we have to have a positive mental attitude. What you see nowadays when you start talking about panthic leadership chosen, elected as per the guru system of qualities and selection and Panj Pyare or whatever you want to call them, Panchathidar, male or female, whatever it is, to choose them, right? People think, hona hi nahi ho sakta. Our panth is too divided. It can't happen. They're given up. Young 25-year-olds are already old, jaded and despondent. 25-year-olds are already despondent. Nahi ho sakta. And I'm like, at some of these people, I'm like, I need to shake you because like I'm 12 years older than you and I'm more positive about this can happen and you've already given up. But you're supposed to be telling me, don't give up, we can do it. Right? So the youth need to remain positive on this. And so the analogy, I made a little video about this recently, is about fire. The reason why fire has a few simple ingredients and you can make it and again if you have those few simple ingredients. And you don't give up, that fire will not be made because you know it can be made. Now we made fire once. I just went through 4 examples and we made fire, right, in our history. Simple ingredients. Good Sikhs, in charge, given leadership, given authority, right, trusted and followed. And we made fire. Right? So we can make fire again. We just got to come together and choose people. So when I was in BC, I was having a discussion with people and I was like, why don't you guys pick 5 youth jathedar for your area? And everybody was like, no, Paji, it's a hard one, you know. Everybody's so split and everybody's got different ideas and how will it ever happen? How are we ever going to sit together? All this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, there's 100 objections you can give me for what can go wrong. But if it worked, if fire was created, there'd be 100 successes you could have. This is the difference between positive mental attitude and a negativity which stifles any kind of innovation or reinvigoration. Right? We need reinvigoration, but it's not going to happen with negativity and negative attitudes. So the Nihang Singhs had a lot of positive mental attitude. When they had prashade that were like old and sukke hui, they would call them mithe prashade. They wouldn't say, oh, sukke, sukke hui prashade. Because what do they feel like? What's for lunch? Sukke prashade. Oh, What's for lunch? Mitthe prashade. Okay. All right. Mitthe ne. They are dry, but now we've changed the way we look at it. So our words and the way our words have an impact. So if we walk around saying, nah, nahi ho sakda, we're passing on negativity to everybody around us. Just be careful about your words here. If you pass on the negativity, somebody else had positivity, now you sucked it out of them. Whereas if you have a positive mental attitude, of course it can happen. Even if you were like, I don't know if it can happen. I don't know. But you say, of course it can happen. Why can't it happen? Guru Gobind Singh Ji will help us. Another person goes, yeah man, Guru Gobind Singh will help us. Right? And then now you've taken this person and you pumped them up. Now you're being chardi kala. You're being chardi kala. Your attitude is chardi kala. And everybody around you starts thinking, yeah man, we can do this. And this is part of leadership, to be chardi kala. And it's part of Sikhi, to be chardi kala. It's not part of Sikhi to be tandi kala. But most of the people you meet in our panth right now that are in leadership environments are actually in tandi kala. If you ask them, can we do it? They'll say, I don't know. It's going to be hard. I don't think we'll do it. Let's just leave it. Let's just leave things how they are. A lot of people go around and say, let's just leave things how they are. But are things how they are good? No. Everybody is universally agreed that how things are is not good. And everybody is like, let's just leave it as it is. What the hell is going wrong with our panth? Everybody agrees this ain't working, but let's not change anything, because that would be too complicated. Right? So, you guys, you are the people I'm talking to, because if you guys become positive about the future and you don't lose it, you can then create change. Because I feel that some of people my generation and the ones slightly below, they've actually now started to become, they've lost PMA. So I'll give you an example. We were going up the mountain, the grouse grind in Vancouver. We're going up it, right? My little girl, I said to her, you do it. You're like my Pago spirit. Yeah? She was like 5, went up the mountain. No problem, she was at the front the whole time. My 8-year-old is a bit more like a lazy boy. You know, oh, I'm not going to walk up here. He's like moaning all the way up. So I stopped him halfway and I said to him, listen man, this negativity of yours is rubbing off on everybody around you. Yeah, you're 8 and you're moaning like about this, and everybody's like, he's like, I don't want to walk, he's so tired, so boring. And he was like, yeah man, it's boring. And he's bringing everybody down. I'm like, okay, we've got to change this. We've got to make more positive. We're going to speak positive now. So we started singing things like, I will not beat this mountain. I will beat this mountain. This mountain will not beat me, right? And everybody down like, yeah man, I'm going to beat this mountain, right? Little 8-year-old kid walks up to you saying, I'm going to beat this mountain. You're like, I'm going to beat it too. Get up and get going, right? Because it's like, yeah, this kid's going to beat the mountain. Damn right, I'm going to beat it. So, we have to think about the words that we say and how we behave. Because you will bring people down or will bring them up. Right? Okay? Right. So what do we need today? We need selected leaders. We need to select Gurmukh Anusar Jathedars, right? Selected for their qualities of being not just Amritari but Gur Sikhs that are living it and they're leading. Yeah? But also we need Sangat, as you lot, and all of us, to take a lead on projects. To find a problem that can help the panth that you can actually solve. Not find a problem that you can tweet about, or blog about, or share about, or sign a petition about. That is not any kind of leadership. Yeah? Don't try the first thing I'm going to do is set up a petition. No. Find a project you can do with your hands and you can make an impact yourself with your limited resources. Do not look to anybody else to be able to help you. Find what you can do with whatever $2 you got in your pocket. Find out what you can do with what you have right now. Yeah? And then do that. If you start to do things that you can do right now with the resources that you have at your available to you, then you can start having an impact. And small successes will spur you on to bigger successes. Right? Couple of successes here, couple of successes here. People start looking at you as somebody who is a successful leader. They'll say, yeah, they are. This person is good. They did this, this and this. If they need some help, I'll help them. People will come up to you and say, how can I help you? Like the guy that designed all of our leaflets, you know these 3 facts leaflets, the 10 questions, the guy, people hand him out. This is how he met me. I don't even go to Rahan Sabais, right? This is not my thing. I prefer waking up early as opposed to staying up late anyway. But be that as it may, my wife had made this book, the puzzle book, yeah? You might have seen the white Sikh puzzle book anyway. So she's like, you should go and sell that at the Rahan Sabai and give out leaflets about your YouTube channel. Yeah, we printed some leaflets. They're terrible compared to the ones we have now. It was like, so anyway, we went there. I sat there, set up a desk, and I started giving out leaflets, right? So this guy comes up to me. He goes, you that guy on YouTube? I was like, yeah. He's like, you need any help? I was like, yeah. I need a lot of help. I was like, because what can I do to help? I said, you can stand here with me, hand out leaflets and sell books. He goes, all right. So we start talking while he's standing there. Next time he goes, these leaflets, I could redesign them. I'm a designer. I'm like, hallelujah. Do it, bro. Design it. So then he designed it. And the whole base Sikhi logo, the whole yellow t-shirt, all the t-shirts we wear now, the I Love Sikhi, that's all made by that one guy. The leaflets all designed by that one guy. Yeah? Just came along and said, I'd like to help you because I like what you're doing. So this is how the Panth works. You got to start doing something and someone will come along and help you in what you're doing. But you can't start by saying, people got to help me in what I'm doing. That's not going to work because people are busy, man. They ain't got no time, and they've seen hundreds of you guys come along and say, I'm going to do all this stuff, and they say, yeah, right. Just do something first, have a track record, people will come and help you. So, you want to save Punjab, alcoholism, cancer, all this stuff, start to do something. Start with something small that you can do yourself. And then holly, people might trust you. Right? We're trying to raise money right now for this Amritsar project, right? Before we set up the Amritsar project, to build a visitor information, we know about this by the way or not? Okay, so we've got a project now where we want to, right outside Darbar Sahib, yeah? We want to build an Amritsar visitor information center. If you come to Darbar Sahib, there's a center there where we'll teach you about Sikhi and teach you about Darbar Sahib, right? And in every language, because we've already got the leaflets in every language, and we can make a new one just for Darbar Sahib. And on top of that, we've got these videos in every language, all available. So this center, it'll be like an Apple shop. Yeah, you walk in, there'll be iPads and TV screens, nice and clean, right? Yeah, so you walk in, you'll be like, oh, where is this place? Are we in India anymore? we left India. And they'll be like, oh, come and have a look. Would you like to learn something about Sikhi? At the back, there'll be a Simran room and a classroom where you can learn. There'll be lectures every day and talks and maybe a tabla class and kirtan class. So now, you can go to Amritsar, stay there for 2-3 weeks, and you could learn about Sikhi, and you could do seva. You could walk around taking people on tours. Right? Anybody can come and join us for a bit of seva. Yeah? This does not exist currently, right? Now, it's going to cost about 300,000 Canadian to buy the lease on that place, and then to refurbish it. So 350 in total. That's the biggest budget project we've had ever. Normally it's like hire a video editor, right? Now, the thing is we've sold it to a bunch of people. People are starting to see that, yeah, they could run this. They've already got like the leaflets, they've already got the videos, yeah? So now we're becoming more and more credible as an organization for running this. So far we've raised about $30,000 in Canada from people in BC, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, right? People wouldn't have trusted me with that much money back in the day when I came up and I said, I want to make videos. They said, "Pehle karke dikhao." Right? So this is the thing that people forget. You got to start walking, then you can start running. Yeah? You can't start with a hospital. This is my advice to you. You can't start with a hospital. You got to start with something small. I'm not criticizing your idea. My advice is start with something small, build up a track record, and then make it bigger. Yeah, brilliant, perfect. So find somewhere where you can actually slot in cheaply. Like for us, it was like we can slot in on YouTube. Just set up a channel. We didn't even have a website for the first 3 years. Most people don't realize we've got a website because they're so used to just going on a YouTube channel because we never had a website for so long. People are like, hey, kaun hai log? Who is this guy making videos? Naam nahi likh de, just a YouTube. Basically, there's no name, no person. Who is these people? Until that Dawa Man video, no one knew who this person was making videos, right? He's the one that said, what's your name? I had to tell him my name, right? I was like, should we take it out? They're like, no, it's your name. You know, we're not going to know his name otherwise. So the thing is it's all about having a track record. Yeah, do something, build up. And it's got to be something you're passionate about. It's got to be something that you enjoy, that you can keep on doing. In case it grows and snowballs, let it not be something you hate doing. Otherwise you'll be like, man, I didn't want to do this. I was just giving it to me to do. Yeah? Find something you enjoy doing for the panth and do it. Right? And watch how it grows. Okay? Okay. How will this happen, right? What's the mentality we need? Okay, this is a quote from Gurbani. Guru Maharaj says, Mere Ram, oh my Vaheguru, Mere Ram, Tod Bandhan Maya, Kar ke kam lai. Say, break the bandhan of Maya. Free me from these chains of this illusion and put me to work in your house. Kar ke kam lai. So we've got a Guru Kar, we've got a Guru Panth, right? If you want to do work for the Guru Panth, you want to do something for the Guru Panth, then you're going to have to break the bandhan of Maya. You can't do it otherwise. And you're going to have to do ardas for this. You have to do beg Guru Maharaj, Kirpa karo, break down this bandhan of Maya so I can do this.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Also check out our Amritsar Visitor Center project that we are currently fundraising for. Sangat ji, we need your support. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh.